Hello everybody, welcome to my new class, The Introduction to Astrology 101, with Abu Mashar's book, The Great Introduction to the Science of the Judgment of the Stars. I wanted to get on here today and talk to you guys a little bit about what you can expect in this upcoming course. It's going to take place starting on January 3rd, 2026. We're going to have a total of 99 students in this class, and we're going to sit together and we're going to go through Abu Mashar's book, The Introduction to the Science of the Judgment of the Stars, and teach it. So I'm going to be your instructor. My name is Blaze-Maximus. You could just call me Blaze, you can call me Max, you can either call me either of those names. I go by both of them. But I'm very excited to do this with everyone because I'm going to be instructing everyone in the way that Abu Mashar lays out this book, the way that he lays out his treatment on astrology. This is the direct entry point into any sort of study that you want to do in astrology. So if you want to be an astrologer, if you want to pursue that as a profession, as a career, as a study of learning, of knowledge, if you eventually want to take on clients, or you're just a layperson who wants to use it for your own knowledge and for your own benefit, because there is great benefit in the science of astrology, this class is for you. We'll be going over all of the fundamental topics, concepts, ideas, and everything that makes astrology astrology, so that way you can have good knowledge that'll allow you to delineate horoscopes and help people in your immediate community. So next I want to talk a little bit about each unit that we're going to cover in each week. I'm going to teach a 2-hour class, and so we'll have a little bit of time of lecture, maybe an hour and a half of lecture, maybe an hour of lecture, depends on the day and what we're doing. And then we'll have some time for class discussion, for some practice, for some questions, and actually refining our knowledge. So for week 1, on January 3rd, 2026, this is going to be understanding astrology as ilm, which is knowledge, it means science in Arabic. And we're also going to be understanding how the planets operate. So we're going to go through and understand the actual mechanism and force on how they bring influence and change the circumstances on Earth. Then on January 10th, on that next Saturday, we're going to go over Unit 2, which is the purpose and the reason for the 12 signs, why there's 12 signs, why there's 4 elements, why there's 3 modalities, things like this, some of the basic reasons, but understanding the logic behind this. Then on January 17th, we're going to go over the ebb and flow of the moon with Unit 3, and this is going to be all on the moon, and specifically the way it influences Earth, and some of its conditions as well, too. On January 24th, the end of January, we're going to go over Unit 4, which is the classification of planets. So we're going to classify planets into different categories based on what influence and what property they have and what they will bring, and also a little bit of how to interpret them as well, too, in terms of their condition. On January 31st, we're going to have Unit 5, which is going to be about planetary rulership and the subdivisions of the zodiac. So we're going to go in for all of the reasons for things like domicile, exaltation, triplicity, bound, the dodecatamoria, the Naubara, all of these things. We're going to go into their logic, go into their reasoning, and show you how you can use them in interpretation. Then we're going to go on to February 7th, Unit 6, which is the classification of the zodiac signs in the sphere. And so then we're going to put all the zodiac signs into different categories and understand their different properties and their different attributes, but also the actual sphere itself. How do the 12 houses operate? How does primary motion operate? All these things are going to come up in this unit. On February 14th, we're going to have Unit 7, which is the conditions and the assemblages of the planets. The conditions and assemblages of the planets are very important because this shows you how the planets actually interact with each other, how rays interact with each other, different configurations the planets will have. So this is very important for understanding planets and interpreting the planets. And then on February 21st, we're going to have Unit 8, which is understanding and unpacking the lots and their interpretation. So this is going to be all dedicated to the lots associated with the 12 houses, the hermetic lots, going over their purpose in delineation and which branches of astrology you actually might apply them in, because not all lots are meant to be applied in natal astrology. Then on February 28th, we're going to have 2 hours of review, knowledge check, and practice. I want this to be something where people can actually, check their knowledge, and something where they can see, how well that they've mastered these topics and these concepts. And so we're going to do something as a class. We're going to do a group project as a class and, do some delineations, do some horoscopes, do things that astrologers do together when they're in a room, and actually apply the knowledge that we've learned over the past 8 weeks. And then on March 7th, for the beginning of the next month, we're going to do considerations before judgment, which is a preview to horary. And so what I want to go with this class is that this is going to be your entry point and your starting point to everything you need to learn in astrology. all of your considerations, all of your associations, things that are really important to the core of the practice. And then in the next series of classes, what we're going to do is we're going to do horary astrology. So you're going to know the basics here. You're going to know how the mechanics of a horoscope work. You're going to know what to identify in a horoscope. You're going to know how to read a horoscope. And you're going to have those simple tools of delineation as an astrologer that you'll need. And then we're going to actually go into horary, delineating questions, how to identify significators, and actually going into that practice of horary will be our next course. So this is your introduction to astrology, and it is one of the most thorough introductions that you're going to get. I mean, Abu Mashar's book is famous for being one of the most thorough and influential books in history on astrology. And so I'm very excited and very honored to also be teaching this to everyone today, because this book and Abu Mashar's work has had such an influence on my work as an astrologer. And so I want to help make other people better astrologers and share this knowledge and make it accessible and give people education that I think we are really needing in this day and age, and certain scholarship that we're really needing as education is getting defunded right before our eyes. So this is going to be a very exciting course. You can go register right now on astrobymax.com/learn. If you go there, you can register until the new year, until January 1st. Registration will be open. And from there, you'll be able to go to the Google Classroom. You'll have access to the Google Classroom, to some of our class resources, to some of our Zoom links that we're going to be going through. And I'm going to be providing and updating people on Google Classroom, so make sure you get in touch with me there once you do sign up. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm very excited to bring this to you. I'll see you there.